Hi, welcome to Learn Job Programming, step-by-step video tutorial 3. In the previous session, we discussed some basic information before writing the Java programs. The topics we studied in the last session are what is interpreter, what is compiler, and what is platform independent. These are all the topics we studied in the last session. So what is platform independent means? So if you have written a Java program in one operating system, that means you have written in Windows operating system. If you have compiled in that same operating system, you can able to execute the same program in other operating system like Unix or Linux, any one of the operating system, you can execute that. That is possible. So Java, we can do the same process for the Java programs also. That means the Java program you have written in one operating system and you have compiled that, you can execute in other operating system. So Java is a platform independent. So this procedure, this term is called platform independent. Okay. So and I explained how to install the Java JDK and Eclipse IDE also in the last session. Fine. Now in this session, I'm going to start with some basic information. We need to know about the basic information to write the Java program. So without these information, we are not able to write the Java program. That means it's not easy to understand. Okay. So now we will see some basic information before writing the Java program. Then it is easy to write the Java program. Fine. Yes. Now what is the structure of Java program? So we will see that. See now before writing the structure, so we need to understand very clearly what is function. The function is the block of code that performs a task. Okay, so if you want to perform any task, we need to write a function. So without the function is not able to execute any task. So imagine the power button of your laptop performs a task. Okay, that means when you power on your laptop, the laptop is getting on, right? So if you power on, your laptop is getting on. So that is one task, right? So it will start the Windows operating system, right? So in the same manner, we can create a function for giving values of employees or students. Just imagine, so in a classroom, students details, we are going to get the values. For the student details, we are going to get the values. Okay. Say for example, student details means student roll number, student name, student contact number, means their phone number or email ID or parents contact number, whatever it is. So some student details, if you want to get those values you want to get, means first we need to create a function. So using that function only we can perform the task, means you can get the values of students information. In the same way, employees details, employee code, employee name, employees basic salary allowance, employees contact number, date of birth, other details about the employee details. If you want to get the information, if you want to give the values of the employees, we need to create a function. Fine. In the same way, we can create a function for sending emails to your friends, relatives, or other people. Okay. So same thing in a function, we can create some set of codes that performs a task. So in a function, we are going to write some codes. So only it will perform a task. Fine. Yeah. So now let's see how can we create, how can we write code for function in Java. Fine. So already I told you, if you want to perform a task, we need to write a code in a function. So how can we write code in for function in Java? So now we will start to discuss about the return type of the function. Okay. So this is called a function. So example function I have given employee name. You can write any name. It's a user-defined function. You can write any function name. I have written employee name because I want to get the values for employee name. Okay. So before this function, in front of function, I have written return type. Means any return type. The return type, it may be int, float, double, character, any return type. If you are going to return a number, means return type is int. Here you need to write int before the employee name. Okay. Right. So after this function, I'm just opening the curly braces. Okay. And then inside this, you can write some coding. Inside the function, you can write some codes. Then you can close this function. Fine. So this is the syntax you need to follow for writing the function, and inside the function, you can write some codes. Fine. So this is the return type function. Now I'm writing the keyword void before the function employee name. Fine. So now void employee name means employee name is the name of the function. Void means this function doesn't return any value. Okay. See, if you have returned here any return type like int char means, so this function is an integer. If you write int here, this function will return the integer data. Suppose if you write before the function float means this function will return the float decimal data. Okay. Suppose before the function, if you have written void keyword, this employee name function doesn't return any value. Okay. Some function return a value like a number, float, and so on. Some function doesn't return any value. So the return type of this function is void. Okay, void is a keyword in Java. Next to void is employee name. It is the function name. So here after void we have returned employee name. So here void means there is no any return type for this function. So employee name is the function name. Fine. Fine. Next to this function name, open and close the parenthesis. Okay. So what we will do inside this parenthesis, we can write some parameters. Inside this parenthesis, we can add parameters. This parameter will pass the value to our function. Say for example, this employee name function should have some parameters like employee code, employee name, and his or her contact number. Okay. See here, before this employee name, after this employee name, I open this parenthesis. And so inside this parenthesis, you can write some parameters like employee details, like employee code, employee name, or their contact number, whatever it is related to the employee. Any parameters we can, if you want to pause means you can pause. So you can write some parameters name there. Okay. Fine. Next to this, we add open curly braces. Inside this curly brace, we should write actual Java code. So inside this open bracket only, we are going to write some Java code. So every Java program should have at least one function, that function called main. So every Java program, we need to write main function like void main, and then open this function curly brace, and then you can write some code here and close it. Close this main function. Good. Now, we will talk about the main function. So what is that main function? I told you already, every Java program at least one function is compulsory. That function is called the main function. So main function is compulsory in all the Java program. Fine. So what is the use of the main function? Okay. So the main function is the entry point to our Java program. Whenever we execute the program, the main function gets called. So the code inside this function gets executed. So once you have written a program, Java program, and you need to compile that, right? So after compilation, there is no any error, successful, you got the successful compilation. You are going to execute the program. So when you execute the program, you should equally, actually it will go and check the entry point of the program. That is, entry point is which one? The main function is the entry point, right? So in the main function, whatever the code you have written, that is going to execute. Okay, fine. This function doesn't exist by own. This should belong to a class. Yes. So without the class, we cannot able to write any main function in Java. Okay. So a class contains one or more related function. Basically, we use these classes to organize our code. In Java, a class can contain one or more related functions. Means in Java program, a class is compulsory. So inside the class, main function is compulsory, right? So each Java program should contain one class that should contain one main function. So one class is compulsory in every Java program, in all the Java program. So that class should contain one main function. So without the main function, Java program cannot able to execute. Okay, fine. So now we will discuss how can we declare the class declaration. See, this is the keyword class. After the class, I'm going to write the class name. So class name, for example, I have given box. Okay, then open this class, open curly brace. Here, void main. So already I told you in every Java program, one class is compulsory. So I have given box class. So in every class, there should be one main function. So I have written void main function. So inside this, open the main method, the main function, and you can write some coding here. Then I'm closing this main method. I open the main method, I'm closing here. And then you should close the class also. At the end, you should close the class also. So this is the structure of your Java program. Okay, class name. Then open the class void main and open this main method. Then write some coding and then close this main method and close the class. Okay, so to define a class in Java, we start with the keyword class. Then write the class name. Here class name is box. Then open curly brace. This is curly brace. I am opening it. Inside this class, usually we write the main function. Yeah, main function we have written. These function accurately we call methods. So main function in Java we need to call main method. Okay, fine. Now we will talk about what is access modifier. That is a very important concept in Java is called access modifier. You should know very clearly what is access modifier, what are they, and what are the uses of the access modifier. It is very important topic. Classes and methods should have an access modifier. So for the class also we have access modifier and methods also we have access modifier. Okay. So access modifier is a special keyword to determine if other classes and methods in this program can access these classes and methods. Okay. Whether other classes and methods can access these classes and methods. That only this access modifiers will determine. Okay, so that means whether this class and method can access the other class and methods. That is why. Okay, we have different access modifiers like public, private, and so on. Okay, but we frequently use public access modifier so that we can write public keyword in front of the class. See, usually here we have written class name, and then after this class open, after the open curly brace, void main. Okay, so this is the syntax we have written. So now what I'm going to write before this class, in front of the class I'm going to write public. Like main method also I'm going to write public keyword, that is public access modifier. See, the syntax is class name. Before in front of this class I've written the keyword public. That means this box class is a public class. That means this box class can access outside of this class also. Okay, and then open this class, have written public void main. That means this main method is a public method. Means this main method can access outside the class also. Okay, right. So now here class name and main method, before these two have used public keyword. So this is the exact structure to write the Java program. Structure of the Java program. Fine. Now the next topic we are going to discuss variables in Java. What is variable? Variable is a name which is associated with a value that can be changed. For example, when I write int I is equal to 10. Here variable name is I. So now I is a variable name which is associated with value 10. Okay. So int, what is int? Int is a data type that represents this variable can hold integer values. So now I is a variable name. So this I value, for this I value, I am assigning the value, for this I variable, I am assigning the value 10. Okay. So now again, the data type I used int before the I variable. That means this I variable, I'm saying it is a integer data type. That means it holds integer data value. Fine. Integer means numbers. Fine. How to declare a variable? This is the syntax. Data type, variable name equal to value, then semicolon. So each and every line, this is a rule, each and every line we should write the semicolon in Java. Right? Each and every statement we should write the semicolon. It is the terminator sign. Fine. Example, how to declare the variable, data type variable name equal to value I told. This is the example. Data type is what I have written here, int. Variable name is name. Okay. So equal to some value you want to give, you can write equal to some 10. Okay. Here name is a variable and int is a data type. Int data type allows this name variable to hold integer values. So this name variable can hold integer values. That is called integer. That is why I declare int data type. Okay. Fine. Now similarly, how can we declare character data type? So same manner, before int I used, here now I am using here char. Char ch is equal to k. So the variable is ch. You can write any variable name. Value I assigned k. You can write whatever the character you want, you can write, but it should be single character. So if it is single character, single quotes you need to write for the value when you assign the value. And before this variable, I mean in front of the variable, I use the keyword, that is the data type is char. That means the ch variable I am considering as character data type. Like the next step is int num1 equal to 400. 400 value I am assigning the variable on variable num1 on m1. So it is, I am declaring it is the integer data type. So here I am declaring int data type. Int num1 equal to, I am assigning the value 400. Okay. So you can write like this. When you declare the variable, directly you can assign the value. Otherwise, we can do like below. Char, you can just declare the variable one line and you can assign in the next line. Char ch int number, like this. Okay. Then here directly I am not assigning the value. So again the variable name ch is equal to some value a, and num1 is equal to, or number is equal to 400. Like this also you can write. Here it should be number, because here I declared number, so you should follow the same variable here, number. Okay. So number equal to 4 only it should be. Fine. Now variables naming conversion in Java. So what is the naming conversion? Variables naming cannot contain white spaces. Means variable name we write, we have written previously ch, number, name, these are all the variables we have written. If it is a small word, small number of characters is placed, there is no problem. Okay. Suppose if you write a lengthy variable name, like example int number. So for the number num, then space br. It is not considerable. It is wrong actually. So is equal to 5. Is it value? Is it the valid variable? No, it is not valid. Okay. It is invalid variable. So space is not acceptable in between the variable name. Like next is variable name can begin with special characters such as $sign and underscore. Means beginning of the variable you can write here $sign, before number you can write dollar or underscore, but without space. Okay. As per the Java coding standards, the variable name should begin with the lowercase letters. Yeah, variable name you should start with the lowercase, that is the small letter. For example, int is a data type, right? Number. So beginning is n is small letter. For lengthy variables names that that has more than one words, how can we write? Okay, see, int is a data type. See, the lengthy variable is this one, first number. If you write number num1, no problem. It is a small variable name. Small number of characters is less. But the lengthy variable name, for example, first number, second number, the variable name you want to write lengthy. Okay, how can you write the first word and second word? Okay, first word is first, second word number I have given. First number I have given. First word, first letter should be lowercase only. In the second word, first letter, you need to write in capital letters. Okay, and then int second number. See here also, first letter small, and then the first word, first letter small, then second word, first letter capital. Have written. See, start and second word with the capital letter. Start the second word with capital letter. Second word is here number. Here also number. So in the second word, first letter N only, you should write in capital letters. Variable names are case sensitive in Java. Okay, fine. So in the next session, we are going to talk about the data types. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to get more videos.